You know, I always try to give you a breakfast shot because breakfast is one of my favorite meals of the day. But we're still at the Radisson, so no need to show you kind of what the dining facilities look like. But we switch hotels tonight. Day 5, and it's all about Bunce Island. So this is the Sea Coach Express waiting room. So you remember from day 1? When I came in from the airport, I had to take a ferry over. That was Sea Coach Express on the arriving side. This is the departing side. So our favorite tour guide, Bassie, I think he mentioned yesterday that Freetown is a peninsula. So I had to pull out a map real quick. I mean, I know a peninsula is water surrounding 3 sides, but I had to see, why do I feel like I'm always around water? And I love water. Water is so therapeutic to me. So I'm just like, oh my God, Freetown is so blessed.
For those of you coming down to Aberdeen for the very first time, this is not the Aberdeen of Scotland, but this is the Aberdeen of Sierra Leone. This is not the Aberdeen where other people have been to. This has been the Aberdeen for the captive slaves who returned back after the British abolished slavery. But this was after this land has been discovered after several years ago. In 1829, Aberdeen village was found for the captive slaves. By then, the bridge you are seeing was not here. This was built when Sierra Leone was about to host the OAU, the Organization of African Union, now the African Union. Aberdeen has our beautiful beaches, lovely hotels, and is the first spot for tourists who are coming into this county.
We're going to this one? I hope none of you guys get seasick, because it is a little bumpy. Just a little. I don't. I enjoy it. It almost rocks me to sleep. You'll be out in the middle of the ocean and see small little paddle boats, and it's just like so impressive.
You know how strong you have to be? Oh, you getting your exercise, man.
This is my own version of a trigger warning. We're having fun here, but obviously Bunce Island is one of the forts from the transatlantic slave trade. So the topic is a little bit heavy this episode. I still think it's important for everyone to watch.
For them to be superior, like the one in England. So King Tom by then negotiated for the arrival of the first batch of slaves. They paid £59 worth of goods. It was not physical money. These things were alcohol, gunpowder, and used clothes. So King Tom here, his son persuaded his second batch of slaves who were the Nova Scotians for them to sail to Sierra Leone. So this place, King Tom, was named after him. And then you can see the Power ship. That's a Turkish ship that is giving support to the electricity of Freetown. So that's where King Tom, the man that negotiated for the arrival of the first batch of slaves in Sierra Leone, before Freetown was burnt down by King Limba that gave electricity to Freetown. But the name King Tom was a household name in Sierra Leone. This is the second biggest natural harbor in the world. This is where the first batch of slaves landed. We have King Jimmy, which we just passed by. We are the second batch of slaves who found the name Freetown on the 11th of March, 1792. Landed. But the first batch of slaves landed here. This is where the British Army were anchoring their warship. That's why when the first batch of slaves arrived, they landed here. On arrival here, lots of things were promised to these people. They said there are shelter, there is pure water for them to drink. But nothing was met on arrival.
So I just need to clarify real quick. The history of Sierra Leone, there was the transatlantic slave trade, so there was a batch of slaves going out in a certain time period, but there was also a batch of enslaved people coming in, because Freetown was founded by returning enslaved people to the continent. So I don't want you guys to be confused. Also, I want to reiterate, Bassie just said Sierra Leone has the second largest natural harbor in the world. But if you look at Google, they'll tell you otherwise. So this is just a reminder, even to myself, because I use Google when I'm lazy, but Google can't be trusted. A lot of times, Africa is not a factor in especially things that have value. So it's always good to be in contact with the continent and getting our facts from the continent itself. In layman's terms, don't let other people tell you about you or your country.
What island?
Island, in Denmark, why in English it's called Monkey Island. There are close to 300 people living here. There is no hospital. There is no primary school. And there is no pipe running water. They go all the way to
So because the boat is so loud, you might not be able to hear Bassie. He was saying that we're passing Monkey Island. He was saying there's about 300 inhabitants, no hospital, no primary school, no running water. I found another YouTuber, Explorer with AAA, that has some nice drone shots of Monkey Island. You can see a gorgeous beach right here. Oh, I can't wait to go back to a lot of the different islands that surround Freetown. Now that I'm looking at the shape of the island, it doesn't necessarily look like the same island that I was just showing you, but it might be. Today, you guys are going to be going not only to Bunce Island, but also Tasso Island.
a place where we are going to today, Bunce Island. It started here some years ago. Tasso in Kenya, it means the place to wait or the place where dead body goes by. Sierra Leone experienced two types of slave trade. We have era of the Portuguese and era of the British. Whilst the Portuguese were here, the type of slavery that we are doing at Tasso was different from the one which was reintroduced by the British. The Portuguese, they were business people. They were buying slaves, but they were not taking the slaves out of Sierra Leone. The slaves were here to carry loads on their heads to walk long distances or long mileages. But they were here. And whilst they were here, the slavery that was going on, they could give times to the slave for them to visit their family, friends, and loved ones. But when Henry Lawrence and John Bunce teamed up to buy this island, they transformed this island to a human cargo area. So the slave trade which extended to Bunce Island started here, the place where dead bodies goes by.
So we're about to pull up to the dock at Bunce Island. It took us about an hour to get here. I couldn't tell you the cost because I paid in a whole package price for the 2 weeks. But if you go to visit SierraLeone.org's website, it has the price per tour. Bassie will get into a little bit about Bunce Island, but Bunce Island was the largest fort of the transatlantic slave trade in West Africa. And later on he'll tell us the difference between a fort and holding pens. Hope you guys enjoy. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, he said the right side, not the, so maybe the railing he's talking about.
No, I'm glad you heard that. I thought he said stay on the right. I don't know if I was feeling nervous, anxious, just I was feeling something though. Before we officially start the tour, let me throw up my drone real quickly, just to get a little shot and perspective of Bunce Island. I didn't want to take it up too long because I didn't want to be a distraction. This is such a, heavy, special moment for all of us, and I wanted to stay present as well. So I just wanted to give you a quick shot. You can see right there, that's the ruins of the fortress that we're going to walk into in a little bit. You obviously see the beautiful ocean. So I'm going to do kind of a 360 to kind of just show you that this really isn't that big an island whatsoever. So as we're panning around, you can see the drone is over the land, and it's really just water, 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 water. So it's kind of a small island that was such an important destination for so many Africans that were enslaved held here. They say about 18,300 Africans were enslaved here. I don't believe that number. I believe it was a lot more. As we're getting closer to reparations, the numbers are getting lower and lower. But they said that about 70% of those went to South Carolina, 15% of those went to Georgia, and then the rest to the West Indies. So my ancestor would definitely probably have been one of those that went to the West Indies, because we can trace our lineage back to Jamaica, and I'm still trying to work past that. But if they know 70% of the people went here and 15% of the people went there, they have all the registries, y'all. It's just for us to find them. And that's going to be my mission, probably starting next year. So we can really properly put our family trees intact. I'm bringing the drone back so we can start the tour. Just for perspective, the temperature the whole 2 weeks I was here was around 84 degrees Fahrenheit. It felt more like 100 degrees Fahrenheit. But obviously the closer you are to the equator, which we are very close to the equator here, it's more intense than an 84 elsewhere. I definitely would say it's a little bit humid. I was sweating profusely the whole time I was in Sierra Leone, but I was told that normally during this time period, which we were there in November, it's normally a lot cooler. So that's just good to know. So I'm bringing the drone back down now so we can get started with our tour of Bunce Island. As you land, there's plaques and signs upon arrival. The last line of this sign says, "Substantial and impressive ruins to the fort still stand today as a testament of man's inhumanity to man." I would change that to as a white man's inhumanity to black man. The only reason why is because there are certain crimes that are crimes of humanity, just human to human. There are certain crimes that are heavily attached to race, and this is one of them, but let's get to the tour.
During those era, Henry Lawrence and John Ben team up to buy this island from Tasso, and they transform this island to a human cargo. People to bring religion to Africa. They were saying, stop doing that. You know, the worship in Africa was like this, underneath trees, like you are doing spiritual worship. And they said, you are worshiping a tree you don't know. There is a God in heaven. Go to church, go to mosque, pray, you have all of these things. This was how the mind of Africans were changed, and it moved to slave trade. They arrived as missionary, business people, not as slave masters, before they move into slavery. So that's how it was. So we could start here.
We cannot overlook that religion always plays a part in the physical or mental enslavement of our people. I'll always look to see what were we doing before the colonizer came, when we were thriving and everything was peaceful. And it's interesting that Bassie said that, you know, we used to pray in open air to trees and different things. And that reminded me of an amazing video I saw by Wode about the Masoi church in Zimbabwe. I could go on and on about this video and the connection, but we don't have time now, so get back to this day 5 at Bunce Island, and then I'll just put the link in the description. Watch that video afterwards, and we're gonna have to talk soon about that video.
There was not a single tree here. Oh. It was an open field where they could see from both ends of Bunce Island.
Every small little detail here is important, but unfortunately I couldn't capture everything for you, so I just wanted to really make sure that you guys got the visuals and were able to feel like you walk through the island, but you're just going to get small little sound bites of the history.
Both hands and feet will be tied. They will dump them into the Atlantic Ocean alive for them to die in there. So this was the first point of contact where business was done. And after that, you are walking into the castle. The most sad part of it, the slaves themselves built their own holding point. Oyster shell, limestone was used to build Bunce Island. During the era of those two companies, the Gambia Adventure, the Royal African Company, whilst they were working here, if slaves do arrive here, they ask for water to drink, they will give them salt water. Because we are having the water in Tasso, in Oku town, if they are going at times, they fall in the hands of pirates, they get attacked. So when all Southern sergeants we are here, they force the slaves to dig a well for themselves. A well of over 15 feet. Please, if you want to view, just view from far, don't go close that much. It's over 200 years. That's why they are the most successful people here. They dug a well here which we are having water to prepare food and to give to slaves who we are almost waiting their shipments. They said this water was saltless. We hope and pray the restoration work will be done. Even the cotton tree you are seeing close to this well today was not here. In their mind, they are no longer in Africa. And the longest time slaves we are spending here is 72 hours. For those of you who have been to Ghana, you have seen the Ghana area where they used to hold slaves. There was only 2 forts. A fort is different from a pen. A fort is different from a holding point. Sierra Leone used to have pens and holding points and forts. The only 2 forts in the whole of West Africa, it was James Island in the Gambia and Bunce Island in Sierra Leone. These were the only 2 forts. If you've been to Ghana, you see how slaves were treated harshly because they were only there for 5 and 6 hours. Likewise, this boat is leaving here to pick those slaves up. They don't want them to sit like this, to pass off. That's why they were giving them that harsh treatment. But what was happening here was more horrible than what was happening in Ghana. So in here, this is the gate or the point of no return. All those slaves that work in here have 2 options. It's either they arrive in their destination or the sea becomes their deathbed. There was a wooden door here which only opens when slaves are walking in. And on top of this door, there was a watchtower with 2 cannons pointing west, that if pirates are coming, they have to communicate with those who are in. And not that the white people were walking on top of these cannons, the black people were also fighting for their lives in here. It's on the point of no return.
We just learned something from Bassie, which is interesting. Malaria was not killing the slaves, but it was killing the enslavers.
Dying of malaria. They think they were dying from black magic. So there were junior workers who were working here for the slave masters. Those women who were preparing food. Down here, they were not only buying slaves, but they were collecting gold and diamonds from our people. Ivory. If they go to this area where there is mining area, these are paramount chiefs or our kings and queens which we used to have. We are putting this diamond. We have something we call country pots. If you put water in there, it's more colder than the refrigerator.
I wanted to get close-ups for you guys for the cannons. So here's the cannons. You can even see the British insignia on the cannons. 1796, that one said.
It takes time for the boats to arrive to different destinations. But all the trees you are seeing, like I keep saying, there was not a single tree at Bunce Island when the slave trade was going on. When you are here to buy slaves, we'll be here. When you come in here, this was office of the chief agent and his clerk. The role of the clerk is to write down all the names. If you go to other areas in England, they could give you names of slaves, but they could not give you the original name of these slaves. Sangba Pia, if you go to America, his name is called Joseph Seng. Yabom is called Mary Morgan. These are how names were changed. Your first point of contact of these slaves will be here. They will say, walk to this window. So if you come close now to view any of these windows, you are viewing into the male enclosure. So when you view, you will see men sitting, half naked, with a bowl of unpleasant
I whipped the
food
camera away
in front
because
of
I
them.
literally saw the enslaved men he was talking about.
Their flag was over there. And there, the same building of the Royal African Company that was built in England was the same one that was built here. So here is where all paperwork was done. After you have identified your slaves, after you have done your payment, they will give you a paper which you have to take from here that will take you to your next destination. And at the back here, it used to be the kitchen. Those shackles you are seeing seems like an handcuff. We are made here by those Gumetins. And how those shackles were on this human being. The more physical you go, the more it hurts your skin, the more it pierces your skin. So all you need to do is to abide to the shackle just to stay like this. That's why if you watch slavery movies, don't think slaves just to want to be like this. Because if they go like this, it goes into their skin. It was more hard and the weight was over like 50 kilos. And if you can watch here, meaning we might come from different destinations, but we all have one accord, which is how we are created by God. This wall have been here for over 200 years. Other walls have fallen down, but because of the support of these roots, makes this wall still standing here. It means if we give ourselves support as human beings, we will support ourselves to reach our higher goal or achieve a common goal which all of us want to achieve. So that's why we call this one the amazing tree wall here, where all of our roots are connected here at Bunce Island.
I couldn't help myself. I had to rush over here and touch this tree wall, this wall that's being held together. Hopefully I can touch any bit of my ancestors.
Into the enclosure of both male and female, there was a stair here with a man with gun pointed on top of their heads, walking up and down. They were not even allowed to communicate. So we are coming in. This used to be a magic door. As you are coming into the female enclosure of Bunce Island. They were chained, they were shackled while they are in here. They want to keep them physically fit. Every morning, they will ask those men to go like this. And they knew these things were going on, they start cutting the hair of all these women. This was the reason why women are not allowed to do their hair by then. So this was the biggest holding point. A tiny wall between your wife and your mother, but you could not communicate. This was where the men were at Bunce Island. This is where our fathers and ancestors were held captive. And the longest time slaves were spending here is 72 hours. And we have a researcher who came here recently. Beings have been living here. There is still their presence in another form. He said that's why you can see different type of butterfly in areas like this. And if you go to Banana area, you could find lots of butterflies like this. Even if you come here raining season, you could see this butterfly here. So we continue walking. So in here was where they are doing the branding as well.
Sorry y'all, you guys can tell I'm not as present today, so it's very choppy, so I hope you guys are following along. But he has said researchers had showed that there's like life forces and energy still there, and that's why there's so many forms of butterflies, including at Banana Island, which was another place that enslaved people were held.
Yeah. Room at the back. They used to have a golf course where they were playing golf in the evening, whilst others are surfing. They have a chilling room where they could chill all their drinks and then they will have them in the evening. And just see how amazing this cotton tree is. The cotton tree we have Sierra Leone and other African Americans are praying here. This cotton tree was not here when the slave trade was going on.
Wow.
This cotton tree only grows here after the abolition of the slave trade. And this is the power magazine. This is where they used to keep their weapons. So if Bunce Island is attacked, they have to remove the weapons here and
And I asked attacked by who? It was really pirates, and pirates not in the interests of our ancestors, really just for looking for money or looking to steal enslaved people to sell them back to somebody.
goods like ivory, more diamonds, more gold. Because if this place is attacked, you will not know there's a place existing at this back.
Someone asked, should we go in there real quick and check to make sure there's no leftover diamonds?
We used to, like 20 years ago.
We needed that laugh.
He said, I am an American. Today I found something more. Now I know where my root is. And my root starts here.
That was the Colin Powell speech that I mentioned in the last episode.
This is the oyster shell. So you see the island at the back? That's the island. When this place is attacked, that's where the slave masters will run into. They always have a boat at the back here. This is the northern part of Sierra Leone. Talk about the name Gumbo Smart. There was no surname in Sierra Leone called Smart. This boy was a young boy who was sold into slavery. He was here. When this place was attacked by the French, he hid himself underneath their precious gold, like their gold, their diamonds. So when the people returned back, they found him and said, how did he...
Sorry, y'all. I'm not present. My camera work isn't present. I couldn't even tell you half of the stuff that was said. That's so unlike me. I was just in my own world. You guys can imagine the emotions you're going through. But to be honest, I didn't feel... I didn't even know what I was feeling. I know I couldn't speak. I was so quiet. And anyone who knows me, like when I get angry, I get quiet. But it wasn't like an anger that I could even point out. It's just deep in thought, y'all. We were walking to the other part of Bunce Island. This walk, I was off by myself because I was really trying to be present, and I was really trying to feel what my ancestor would have felt walking this path, knowing that someone I was related to or other African family members walked this very path.
And the only two people who are lying here who are black people is John Henry Lawrence and John Benson in England. That's why when they died, they were buried here. They were not making stop here. They were staying in Oku Town. But it's like when they are coming, whom they were communicating with was this chief by then and his clerk. They are the only two black people that was buried. Around at your back, you could count over 10, 15 graves of white people here. Andrew Orton, the entire family that died of cold and malaria in the coast of Guinea. We are buried over there. The mom, the dad, all of them are lying. These are all grave sites. He considered himself to be a wretch. He wanted to present himself to these black people that I'm a saint, forgive me.
Right.
He said he was lost for the time he was here doing the slave trade. He said now he's found in the Lord. He's found in the Bible. He's found by the word of God. So they should embrace themselves in the spirit of oneness, which was the Christianity by then. He said he was blind, meaning he was not seeing the chains, the shackles. He was not seeing everything he was doing. He wanted to make the voyage back to Africa to say sorry. He died. If you could remember, when the Black Lives Matter started in England, the image that was brought down was his image in England. black people brought his image down. Yes, his statue down in England. So in America as well, when President Joe Biden won the election, on his inauguration ceremony, a black guy walked down the stairs to recite this hymn, The Amazing Grace. He wanted to give an information to those 78 or 70% of white Americans that this land was built by black people. You must embrace the unity, not to divide us by color. So that's why he recited this hymn. That hymn was recorded 6,600 times in America. The second and third standards was written in America by black slaves, expressing how they went through suffering and other things. But the first standard was written in Sierra Leone, in Banana Island. If you go to Banana, at this part, which is the King's Wharf, there's a rock. That's where he sits and remember. For me, Africans should sing or remember the hymn, On Christ the solid rock I stand. Because every area in Africa by then was a sinking sand. There was nothing. The only thing they could hold on was the blood of Jesus, which was the cross, where he was nailed, which was the boat, where they put them to sail them out of Africa with. With this hymn is more better than The Amazing Grace. So after here, let's walk down to the place where Africans step their feet for the very last time before they are shipped out of Sierra Leone. Let's just walk down there.
So in a couple days, we're going to go to Banana Island, and I'm going to show you that rock that he was talking about where John Newton wrote Amazing Grace, where he had the revelation that he was a horrible human being for torturing and capturing humans. Yeah. But let me walk over back to where the two black people were buried, because I didn't really give you guys a good shot, and I spent way too much time over where the enslavers were buried. Here they are. But also, they don't know why they were buried here, so they could have been so loyal to the enslavers that they got buried there. Who knows? One last shot of the fort at Bunce Island as we're heading out down to the water. I saw this. Welcome to Bunce Island. Now you saw at the very beginning I had to touch my feet in the water. And now I have to do it again. Photo shoot time. So we're leaving Bunce Island, heading to Tasso Island for lunch. But I know some of the questions that you guys might have is one topic that got brought up. Did other Africans sell other Africans into slavery? So Bassie did mention yes, there were some Africans, even some chiefs, that sold people into slavery. But this is the key thing, and he stressed this, and anytime I've ever heard this, they stress this. They had no idea what they were selling them into. For example, he mentioned one chief that, he was being told that, oh, this person is going to have a better life, and they're going to learn how to be doctors, and they're going to learn different skill sets. So they thought it was a great opportunity, those type of things. We were pleasantly surprised by the sound of drums. We We stopped at Tasso Island on the way back for lunch, and it was just such a pleasant surprise that some of the locals just had some drums and a costume and just were welcoming us. Trust me, we needed something that was going to make us smile. And right before we walked into the lunch venue, I saw my favorite houses, the traditional Limba style straw hut mud houses. I'm going to try to take you in one a little bit later. Now let's get into this delicious lunch.
And then it's fried rice with vegetables here, and then they have black eyed peas, and then plantain, and they call this sweet potato. Well, he says sweet potato.
And then we had some surprise guests looking for little drop-ins. Cute mama and her chicks. So it said they built these for tourism purposes. I was going to take you guys inside, then I realized I didn't ask anyone any permission, so I was like, let me not get in trouble. So let's fast forward to... So yeah, the War
The Briwa.
My Limba tour guide picked me up from the ferry dock. And did a lot of the Limba history get saved and carried down from the beginning before the Europeans? Do we know what the Limba were doing then?
Well, they were doing farming,
Okay.
hunting, and also palm wine tapping. Like I tell you, they are popular known as for a palm wine tapper.
Palm wine tapper.
Like as we are going along the way, you will see at Waterloo area, maybe when coming tomorrow, you will see them. And I will even made, when we go to the village, somebody will climb the tree so that let you see.
Okay.
And you take photos and video as much as you could.
Okay, yes.
Because like the Limbas now, we have our own traditional school of thought, and which is the secret society. You have the one for the female, and one is for the male.
Male, okay.
And our particular area where it is bound for women not to go there, and also to the men. Men are not going to where the women are.
Okay.
And also women are not going where the men are.
Okay. And there'll be certain things that, when you say secret society, we're not supposed to speak about?
If you're a member of it, you speak about it.
Right.
You come together, you discuss. Like now they are going to welcome you as their own child. And for the very first time. So I've already told them that they have a big stranger that is coming. And in those days, most of our people, they really engage in farming. And they always sent the boy child to school instead of the girl's child. And then we are taking these women to the sandy bush, which is the female. By then there was no Western education.
Okay.
So that is our own education. Training them how to become women of substance in society. How to take care of their home, their husband and their children after they have got married. Some married 1-2 wives.
Okay, so polygamy is
Of course,
part of,
it is, but
okay.
Some will just say one.
Okay, even now?
Yeah, even now it is happening in the provincial area, not in the city.
So you guys know me by now. I asked 1,001 questions. We were in the car for hours, so I got a good understanding of just one fraction of traditions of Limba, thought processes of Limba, how the society works. Because, you guys might not know it, I haven't even told you, we're going up into my traditional Limba village. All the other people in my group were Mende, so they're all going together to the Mende village. But I learned something that was so amazing. I am the first Limba to come back home in Limbo.
Limba, like for instance, when somebody say Limba, Mbeke, meaning, what's your name?
Umbeke?
Mbeke. Mbeke.
Mbeki. What's
Then
your
in response you say, Yama Rebecca.
Yama Rebecca.
Or you say, Keokiana Rebecca. My name is Rebecca. Keokiana Rebecca.
Keoki.
And in other, somebody will ask you, Kamena Inka. Meaning, where are you going to? Then in return, you will say, tell the person that Yandokai Kabegede. Meaning, I'm traveling to the village or the provincial area. Awadungne mandi bete, yandobate mandi. Give me water to drink. That's the meaning. Dungne mandi bete. When you say yandobate mandi, meaning I want to drink water. Then now if you want to ask who cooked the food today, Nkana pone fe.
Akana pone fe.
Fe, in the words, that meaning who cooked today? Rebecca napone sisaba, meaning Rebecca is the one that cooked the rice. Hey, Intenge, are you okay?
Hey, Intenge.
Intenge, you thunder. When somebody asks you, you thunder.
You thunder.
You thunder. Indo, meaning when they say in thunder, he or she is asking you don't eat. Then when he say no, meaning yes. So these are the common things.
Common things that is.
As soon as you get there, you will be able. Like for instance, give me the spoon. Dune kumpa.
And how do you say goodbye?
And okay, yo, I'm going. Our empe, meaning tomorrow, or you say mempe. So these are
some of the phrases,
common ones. As soon as you know these things,
and
automatically you will know how to talk the Limba.
Do other tribes understand Limba?
No, except the person has been living with Limba people. So when he or she talks, the person will understand that.
Okay.
You have been there. Like for me, I can even talk the Mende because I've been with them for a very long time. Because when I was in Freetown, when I go back to the provinces, most of my friends, they are all Mende people. So when I ask them, can't you talk the Creole? They say, no, we need to talk the Mende so that you can understand and you can be able to learn from what we are saying. So these are the things. Like for another example, if you share a boundary with two ethnic groups, so the possibility for you to talk any of this one, it is very much slim. Like especially in the north, that these are cattle. When you go there, especially the Fulas, they are known for cattle. Like this one, tomorrow they will kill them. They are going to be sold for meat tomorrow in the morning. They are going to be slaughtered. So they are just waiting here now. But early in the morning, 6, 5 o'clock, and our people are there now, sleeping, watching these things. These were all from the north, especially Kabbalah, Kono, parts of Kono, different, but especially in the north. Like if you have money, you can go and meet one of them, especially the Fula. Say, I want to buy these things, then you can take good care
of the cattle.
And the Fula, these are another people who are very much honest. If anything happens, they will call you. If the cow give birth, the cattle give birth, they will say, oh, your cattle will give birth to one.
Alex was such a great tour guide. He was just giving me information about all different tribes, from Fula, which is also Fulani, which is funny because so many people while I was in Sierra Leone told me that I was Fulani, to the point where I'm like, I don't know, you might be right, I haven't done all my DNA yet. So all I know is Limba at this point, but the amount of different people that told me, and it's just such an amazing thing to be in a place where people know more about you than you know about yourself. I loved it. So yeah, I just learned so many different interesting things. I'm so excited to go to the traditional village tomorrow. By far, I'm speaking in the future, but it is my favorite day. So speaking about knowing things about you don't know about yourself, he mentioned to me that Rebecca, they knew I was Limba because of my middle name. That's a Limba name. And I was like, what? How would my mom know that? How would my dad know that? They don't know that they're Limbas. We just found out through our DNA that we're Limbas. So when I got back home, I told my mom, and my mom was like, what? She was like, Limba is your grandmother's middle name, and it's probably a name that's carried on in the family, but we didn't know why. How deep is that, y'all? And that's another reason why they say there's power in a name. It was a long trip, y'all, and boy, is Alex a trooper because I asked him 101 questions for real. I learned so much about Limba because I'm going to my Limba ancestral village tomorrow. We're heading to Makeni, which is about 3.5 hours away from Freetown, and then spend the night. This is the hotel that I'm staying at. Nice country hotel with some amazing woodwork in the lobby that I'll try to get some shots of it tomorrow. Give you a quick tour of the room, and then we have another 2.5-3 hours drive from Makeni to my ancestral Limba village in the morning. As you can see, it's a pretty big room, just simple. After going to Bunce and Tasso Island and driving for so long, I was just tired, so I knocked right out. I didn't even go to dinner. See you guys in the morning, y'all. We have to be up bright and early, so set your alarm.